may begin.
A lot of times I'm driving, there's nothing to do, and I shuffle through the radio before I unglue. There's a lot of red on ways, it's traffic, I'm screwed, and I'm wired a bit different than a regular dude. It's not a bad thing, I embrace it, it's true. The radio don't stimulate brain chemistry fluid. The Buddha found nirvana and the Four Noble Truths. Through a meditative process, right action he proved. For me, I require the use of a tool, a detector, pin, pointer, shovel, and beach scoop. I'm meant to work the dirt with my history crew, but everywhere I look, my interest taboo. Most people choose Bieber over Tippy Canoe. What does a detectorist listen to when the radio is full of bad music and news? I need an alternative for me to peruse. Beyond Sight and Sound gets fantastic reviews. A metal detecting show where my thought bubble brews.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoop's company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
All right, the fine print's out of the way. It's time to roll with the show. We're back and we're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And good Lord, while I was doing other things, you guys have blown up the chat. I'm still scrolling. Either way, we're here on Wednesdays, we're here on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, always 8 p.m. Eastern, or as near to it as we can get. Why? Well, that's just when we throw the switch and try to throw mayhem into coordinated chaos. So, links in the description. First and foremost, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors, DETECTEES.com. Ken, Mark, Darth, Buddy, and the gang doing a great job. XTREME Scoops, TheRingFinders, Illinois, Iowa, Treasure Hunters Group, Ohio, Metal Detecting on YouTube, Detect Ed Outdoors on YouTube, Metal Detecting NYC, Crazy Spider Adventures, both also on YouTube. The Apex pre-order link is also in there. The Note the Macro Mini Horde giveaway is in there. Saturday is your last day. If you have not got your child entered, go over, check out the Beyond Sight and Sound page. Get your child entered into that pin post at the top of the page. Good grief. The link for DIGGIN with KG and Ringy is in the description and in the chat, as well as another link in there that'll play into Sunday's show, another YouTube channel, that you'll definitely want to check that out as well. And I do see we've got the man with the plan in the chat already. Welcome to Chuck and Mike and Barb and, well, Dennis and Bills and Tim and, oh, good grief. Lions and Tigers and Bears, welcome aboard, everyone. Either way, tonight, you guys and gals, you've seen the post. everywhere. I tried to cover different areas. The guests also covered different areas. I think between all of us working in conjunction, we've probably reached a good 24 people. So we're doing great. It'll be an awesome show tonight. Either way, though, you saw the links. We've actually got a gaggle of Garrett people on. We've got the Ringmaster. We've got King George himself. We've got Steve Moore, and they've already been kind of at the ropes, going at each other and everything else. It has been a very eventful and exciting and entertaining pre-show so far. So hopefully they've got some good information to share with us tonight. I'm sure they haven't wore themselves down yet, so let's get them in here too. How is it going, gentlemen? Thanks for dropping in tonight.
We're
great,
good. Right, boys?
Thanks for having us.
Wow,
Glad to be here.
George sounds so enthused.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like as he's saying this, he's looking through a scope trying to sight it in or something.
No, buddy, I'm good.
Wow. Or maybe reviewing the next up-and-coming quick hitter or something, machine settings or something like that. You guys seem to do those quite a bit.
Yeah, we put a lot of them out because we get tons of questions about, they just want to know how KG and I set up our machines, whatever they are, the AT Pro, Gold, Max, whatever. And we're already working on the Apex one, of course, so, I got to get KG to, give me a little info and tell me his secrets on how he's setting it up, because he seems to be finding more than me.
Uh-oh.
I guess I need to send you one of those owner's manuals, huh, Tim?
Right.
Does the owner's manual come with pictures?
No, they didn't even
great
send me a
illustrations
manual.
in there. Yeah.
I don't know. Tim's doing pretty good for being in Arizona. I mean, you could pull an 1800s coin out of Arizona and you've done something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very good. You've got yourself on a nice spot then. Good job.
Yeah, I almost got there the other day. I pulled a 1903 Indian out of a place that people have been hammering for over 25 years. So I was really pretty excited about that just because of what I was up against,
Right, yeah.
Right.
Well, and it goes to show sometimes all it takes is a new machine, a different coil, different settings, something like that to breathe new life into an old site.
Exactly.
That's right. Yep, exactly. I've been tearing it up here, I've been finding silver, and Steve came up from Texas and spent a few days up here, and we ran wild through the Kansas prairies metal detecting, and we really did good. We put that machine through a great test, and we pulled out some really great finds. I mean, I think I found 3 silver coins now. I found a silver $50, old 1800s Indian head penny, silver Merc dime, and a silver quarter, and a bunch of really, really cool things.
And hopefully we'll get to see this in an upcoming video.
You will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's working
Yeah.
on it. If we could go a little faster, we'd probably have it by now.
If I didn't have to keep doing these shows every night, I'd have it done by now.
Probably
Right.
find more too.
Well, and really,
Find something. Yeah.
kudos to the three of you. I mean, you're doing a show tonight. You've done some others in the past, and back to back. You'll be on Detect America tomorrow night at 8 p.m. I don't know where you guys find the time.
Well,
We just got to do what we got to do. I think KG's got us. Are you leading us now on the oldest coin there? I think you got Tim and I beat on the oldest Apex coin, right?
Yeah, what was that? Well, I found that when I was with you, that Indian head, right? See, it was like 1883 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, mine still have 19s on the front of them. I haven't got any 18s or older, but we got to get to some old sites. We got to get away from all this health crisis where we can travel and go to some cool places,
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, very, very good point. I mean, realistically, for the finds that you guys have been making, the way it sounds, you've been doing a good job, because it is kind of difficult to get out right now in the situation that we're in.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
we've got a lot
quarantined to
more
a
urban
500-mile radius up here. I'm going to Baxter Springs, Missouri tomorrow to meet up with a guy, and he's going to take me to an old site. Supposedly there's Civil War activity and thousands of people there. And he said it's a really good spot. So I'm going to take the Apex up there and tear it up. Hopefully I can continue on with the oldest coin.
Oh boy. Well, the heat's on for Steve and Ringy, I guess.
I guess so. We're going to
Yeah.
do some work
Yep.
there, Mr. Tim Master. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you need to come visit me, or I need to come visit you, or something, because obviously neither one of us has broken the 1800 mark, I don't think, yet. Mine was 1903. That's as close as I got.
I think mine's 1930s, as old as I get. So.
Well, you got to stretch your
Yeah.
quarantine area more. You know, you can't be quarantined in your own yard.
Well, yeah, he's got a point there, I guess. So it sounds kind of like you two are kind of hearing about KG's finds, going, "We're not worthy."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he gets lucky once in a while, and he has to gloat for a little bit, but he'll get past that when we stomp him. So no worries.
Yeah, last year, Steve came up here during the 4th of July last year and hung out with his family, with mine, and we tore it up. He kicked my butt on the silver. I found a couple cool things, but he did whoop me on silver, so it was payback time this year. So
It kind of goes like that. You go on these trips, and it's almost inevitable. One person will just crush it one day, and then the next day it might be somebody else, or occasionally just somebody's on a streak for that trip, you know. But the
Right.
best ones are where everybody finds a couple of cool things every day, and into the night, everybody's just kicked back, you know, happy with how it went. So it's all good.
Yeah, true. I mean, everybody gets a nice variety that way. They're satisfied. They've put in a nice day of detecting. They've got some nice finds to show for it, and probably some good eating after the hunt.
Yep.
Yeah, there's always
drinking.
plenty of good rivalry. I remember on one of the trips, I was kind of happy because I found a standing Liberty quarter. It had been cut or split. I don't know if the plow got it or if somebody split it. And I was pretty happy. I showed Tim. He's like, "That's great. I've never found one like that. You know, all I ever find is intact SLQs. Never found half of one like you."
Nice.
Ringy did that this year. We were in England, and he found a half of a Saxon penny, a silver Saxon penny, which they're ultra rare. Supposedly they're more rare than a gold coin in Europe. And then 2 days later, I found a full Saxon penny, and so he said I said he was half as good as me, and he said he was better than me because his was smaller.
I wouldn't brag about that.
More rare, maybe, might be a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took more skill to find it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. So, between the three of you, how many gold coins are we up to?
I've got one.
I've
only got
one and a half, and KG's got stuff. Yeah, so I think we have three then, right?
Yeah.
Three and a half.
Three. Well, three. The one we found on the show, we were doing this tiny little area, and like one of us would dig, and the other one would like run the detector over the stuff that they were digging out of this area.
I remember
we just
that.
kind of teamed up on it. So we
it
kind of
was a
get
buddy
credit for that one. It was a buddy effort one, so we kind of found that
team
one
effort,
together.
Teamwork.
Yeah, I was turning over the dirt, and I think, since that was harder work, I think I get like 3/4 of that coin.
Yeah.
I remember
we're
that, though.
That split it in half. Actually, Yeah, and the cool thing is that KG they let us keep that coin, and since we found it together, we decided to actually flip the gold coin itself and call heads or tails to see who actually got to keep it. And KG won, so he gets to keep the coin.
I got it. Yeah.
Wow.
So Tim went online and bought one exactly like it. I don't know why. It's the money, but
Yeah, you got to watch out for those guys though, because I nearly lost my first gold coin because of George. I found it and he was excited, and we were on this old plantation in Virginia, and he was going to come up and film it and all that, and I'm holding it up, and as soon as we got done filming it, he just ran over there and tackled me and knocked it out of my hands into the field. Luckily, I have my pro pointer.
So
Yeah,
things
coins
get
are
awesome out there. Everybody was out there digging buckshot, and I mean piles and piles of buckshot. And Steve went out there and was digging buckshot after buckshot, and he had another hit, and he thought, man, this is probably just going to be buckshot again. And I'll be darned if it wasn't that little tiny gold coin.
It just goes to show you got to dig it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an amazing hunt. That was really cool. And the other one you can see on one of our England shows, and that's the 50 BC Celtic gold coin that I found in England.
Right.
Oh, wait, so yours is older, so it's better. Now we see how it goes.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it.
So we've got
I don't know. Steve's is awesome.
So we've got England, Virginia, and New Orleans, if I remember correctly, was where the other one was found.
Yeah, those are our only gold coins that I know of, you know?
That I like that I know of. Like George is stashing them in his pocket or something.
Well, you're never gonna, not like I knew exactly how many Steve had found in his history or anything, but yeah, I mean, I definitely know that's all I found. I wish it was more.
Well, we all
never take our advice. We told him to put his gold coins in the tumbler and they'll clean up and look a lot better, but for some reason he didn't do it with that Celtic one.
Yeah.
Right?
just couldn't get him to go for it. Man. So who is the master behind all of putting all of this video together and uploading it?
That'd be Tim.
Oh, yeah. I used to be a programmer, and I kind of know my way around computers, so that job fell to me.
So you kind of got nominated, huh?
Yeah, and obviously I used to be a Monty Python fan growing up, so all that influences in all of our new shows, and so I get the blame for all of that stuff too.
I do see that. I do see that in some of the videos. I mean, Holy Grail was kind of a cult classic, I guess you could say.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. And for those that may be wondering, maybe you guys can share what video equipment are you using out in the field when you're taking these clips, and what software are you using to throw them all together?
I usually just use my little tiny GoPro 5 sessions, and then I have a little HD mini cam that I use all the time, so I'm not packing a bunch of weight around.
Right.
Yeah,
nice
that works. And a lot of the quick hitter stuff that doesn't need to be super high end was, we film it with our iPhones sometimes if, we don't have anything else available. But the actual TV shows that we did, Digging with KG and Ringy, we actually had some of our National Geographic camera guys in Europe with us and in Australia, and even a Discovery guy from that had a big giant car engine size underwater camera that shot that one underwater in Canada. So I'm not really sure what those cameras were, but all I know is we weren't supposed to get them wet or spit on them or anything because they were, $100,000 a piece or whatever.
Right. Don't even look this way at them. They might break and we won't be happy.
Yes.
And what about Steve then? Does he just say, hey guys, I found something, come record this?
No,
Yeah,
it seems like on those trips where I go
never
along,
finds
they
them.
thought I was, yeah, they said I was the water boy or something like that, like I'm supposed to bring drinks to them or fan them or something like that, and keep them cool. You got to make sure the celebrities don't sweat or, get hot and thirsty or something.
Yeah, they have plenty of grapes at all times.
No, really, they send me out in the field to search and walk all over, 500 acres until I find the hot spot, and then they race over there and jump in there with their cameras,
Right.
Yeah, we make him scan the area, and when he finds a hot spot, then, we got a little tracker on him. Don't know about that, but because Steve moves, he never quits moving. He's like, he'll put like 80 miles on a day. He'll be all over a mountainside, even if he leaves the nectar sector. And then we got a tracker on him, because if he ever slows down and he's in an area for more than 5 minutes, we'll pick up on him. We'll head to that area.
Right. We know he's on to something then and swoop in.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got to be able to
Take
cover
advantage of
ground.
that.
He's got to be able to cover ground to keep up with you two.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I keep an eye on
Good
Tim.
at it.
When
The
Tim gets
truth is-
something going on, he'll grid the area thoroughly, and you'll see him in the same spot for 2 hours. And you walk over there and go, what do you got going on over there, buddy? And he'll just kind of be like, nothing at all. And you're like, no, don't give me
I ain't
that.
finding nothing.
It's so true though. We've all hunted together for so many years. We've studied each other's behavior, and you can just sense it. You just look over at George, and I can tell if he's been somewhere too long, or how fast he's moving, or whatever. I can just tell, and every once in a while I'll just wander over there, and you can see the disgust on his face, because he's like, I somehow gave it away,
Right. Little bit of bottom feeding going on.
Yeah,
Talking
exactly.
about bottom feeding. Yeah, at least I didn't invade your little silver cache you found in England last year, like you guys did to me on my silver cache. We were digging one night. I was popping these big silver coins out of the ground, and George just pulls me back away from the hole. He's like, let me scan. And he digs one out, and then Tim runs over there, jumps over there. Here's the detector. He scans. He's like, oh, my God, there's more in the hole. And he pulls out a big silver coin. And then finally the guilt hit him, and they're like,
tired. He was looking tired, and he looked like he needed some more wine. So we wanted to give him a break.
Yeah. Then we duct taped his legs together and strapped his detector to his legs, and that was the end of that. We dug the rest of them for him.
Wow. So then it basically, you all do your own stunts, and half of them may not even be planned.
Right.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff, even since the old days of the EMD stuff. We used to ride motorcycles when we weren't quite as old as we are now, and we used to do a lot crazier things, and we ended up breaking a few detectors and, throwing them off of cliffs and all kinds of different things. But we managed to not break anything.
I can recall back in the day somebody dressing up like Lone Ranger or something on a rocking horse riding down a hill. Back in one of the EMDs.
Very good at the bottom. Yeah, that was probably one of the funniest things. I wish we had other cameras filming what happened after the cameras turned off on that, because I don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. George's brother was filming. He's the artist in Montana. He does a lot of photography and stuff too. And so he was filming that from one angle, and I can't remember who was filming the other angle, maybe George. And when I got to the bottom, I had it all under control, and then I stepped on that giant rock and twisted my ankle and went down in the rocks, and I was bleeding and everything. And I thought they were both going to die of asphyxiation because they were laughing so hard. And then when we watched it in slow motion, we were all laughing so hard. I mean, it just went on for like an hour, and my stomach hurt the next day. It was hilarious.
Heavy Monty Python influence in those videos.
Well, it always seems like on the shows where they're trying to figure out who had the best find, and then there's some kind of bet payoff. Whoever knows they're going to lose, that's when it gets real serious about the other guy going, okay, I got some great ideas of what you're going to do. So it's like the ultimate payback,
Right. And I'm sure we've seen there's had to have been episodes where you guys would have the challenges where you knew you had it clinched. You were going to win. And somehow or another something else gets picked. I mean, that had to have been kind of disappointing at times, wasn't it?
Oh, it was disappointing all the time because, halftime you thought you had it won, and then they would let the host pick the item, to win. And sometimes you had the greatest item on the table, and they would pick like something really dumb on the table, like a broken statue or something, and the other guy would lose. And it's like, what do you mean you can't pick that? And then we'd end up, having to get punished.
I remember you were so upset when they picked that broken trophy statue thing that I found.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
you were so upset about that.
I had script from an ancient place where they used to play the blues music, and Tim finds this broken, only probably about 5-year-old trophy, and the guy goes, "Oh, I was at Old Miss, and I like trophies, so I'm picking a trophy." I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then, man, I was mad. Still mad.
I remember the producer had to call me down when we were up on the East Coast, somewhere up by Maine or whatever, and I found like a bunch of silver and some old 1800s Indians and stuff, and the person picking it picked like a fairly new Canadian nickel that KG found. And I lost my mind, and the producer was trying to calm me down. He goes, "It's fair and square. You just lost," and I knew that I was going to have to do some horrible punishment. I was not happy.
So, what was the worst punishment each one of you had to do, in your opinion?
There you go.
What do you think, Cage?
Boy, the most painful punishment I ever had was when I had to go up against Tim and the 3-time world paintball champion. I had bruises from the tip of my toe to the top of my head, purple bruises. Well, I thought Tim challenged me to a paintball fight, because he lost, and he goes, well, and I'm like, what are you, nuts? I said, I shoot guns. I mean, I'm going to murder you. Well, what they didn't tell me is they had the 3-time world paintball champion, sitting on the side. I didn't know it, but Tim knew it. And he got to play on Tim's team and against me. And he had a paintball gun that shot like 53 paintballs every second. And that was brutal. I mean, I'm still a little pissed about that one.
That is painful. I mean, I used to play some paintball back in the day, and I can remember the welts that we would go home with.
Yeah. Well, and then since we were filming it, we had to keep redoing shots. Like, okay, well, we didn't have a good angle of you running to the broken down helicopter, so we're going to have you, run that distance again.
Right. Shoot him again.
At you, of course. Yeah.
Oh, that was a sore day, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know Tim's worst, but I saved his life, so he's still here today to talk.
Oh, that's true. I think that probably was. I had a couple bad ones. The tar and feather was kind of bad. Not so much that it was, like Hershey's syrup that they dumped on me, and then the feathers. I mean, I was picking them out of me in the shower from all kinds of places that the feathers got. But that wasn't so bad. It was what happened right before that, where as they were taking me up to the gallows or whatever to do this, and they had to run me through this gauntlet that apparently they did back in the day, and all these reenactor people were dressed up and hit me with sticks and stuff, which is bad enough, and I got no shirt on, just these old time period shorts or whatever, and they're smacking me with these sticks, and this little kid reenactor is there, and he takes a swing and hits me below the waist, and I almost collapsed. I mean, that was pretty bad. That was one of them.
Yeah,
there's one other one
good.
I got to mention before I talk about KGs, and that was when they grabbed a bunch of old ladies off the street to throw cabbage at me when I had my head and arms in the stocks. I'm standing there. And so they're throwing fruits and vegetables at me and stuff, and one lady couldn't hit me. So she walks right up to me with a full head of lettuce and then just smacks me in the face with it and then hits me on the top of the head with it. And I have my hat on, and that little button on the top of my hat, and I mean, it crushed it down into my head, and I had a welt like a cartoon on top of my head after that. So I wasn't very happy with that lady. But the one KG's talking about, he actually had to save my life because I had to walk the plank out in the ocean off of this giant pirate ship, which is fine. I'm not afraid to swim or whatever, and I walked off, fell in the ocean, and I'm fine. But then the guy driving the ship decides to chase me with it. This is a massive freaking paddle wheel ship, and I'm getting sucked in. I'm like so close to going into that paddle wheel. I was just going to be chopped up alive. And luckily, KG saw the panic in my eyes, and he reached out, and I just got his hand, and he pulled me on the deck. You know, I was out of gas.
That was a pretty scary.
Yeah.
That was pretty scary. I think he was trying to kill you.
He
I don't think he liked you. I think I was his favorite. Definitely his favorite.
He was just going to try to turn the next season into Digging with KG.
Yeah.
I figured KG would just like touch my hand and act like he couldn't quite get a hold of me because he had paid the guy to do it.
Ringy.
So, but, yeah.
I was better at editing
sorry,
video. I would have let you go.
Oh, man. So you guys, you've all been with Garrett for a while and definitely been able to have a lot of experiences and adventures and see many, many different places. I mean, you guys are received like rock stars overseas. It's phenomenal. But you've seen the evolution of the Garrett machines over the years as well, because I can remember back when, what was that? The GTI 2500s, I think it was, you guys were running.
Yep. That was our very first machine we bought. I remember we bought them, and Tim's like, man, I'm going to buy this machine. It's a Garrett, it's a 2500 and this and that. And I think it was like $900 and some dollars. And I go, well, yeah, how much is it? And he's like 9 something, but it talks to you and it's got imaging, man, and you can tell what size stuff is before you dig it. And I'm like, $950. I said, are you nuts? I will never spend that much on a machine. And then he goes, well, that's what I'm getting. So, suit yourself, whatever, And I'm like, dang, I cannot have him having a better machine than me. So I ended up buying one too.
So it's kind of like, yeah, I heard that's what he was ordering, and I wasn't going to do it. But 2 days later, I ordered mine.
Right. No, we've been with Garrett forever, and then they come out with the AT Pro, and that's the one we used in the the first couple seasons of Diggers, and man, we wiped up everything with that thing, And then we went down and we helped Steve. We tested the AT Gold and stuff, and at first we were using it, and we were so used to our AT Pro, we're like frustrated, like, oh man, I'm never going to use anything. And then we started to learn that machine, and we really loved that machine. And then the Max came out, and it's like, oh man, I don't want to switch to another machine. I know this one's, and then man, once we started getting that Max and started, fine tuning it and trusting the machine and listening to the sounds that it made, we just started tearing it up. I would go against anybody on the planet with that machine right now, any day.
Wow.
Now the Apex, I'll go up against anybody with that right now too.
And
calling them out.
And it is. The AT Pro, you guys had a big part to do with the popularity of that machine, as well as getting newcomers into the hobby, I'm sure, with the Diggers show and all of that. And it is still debatably one of the world's most popular machines today. Garrett hit it out of the park with the AT Pro.
Yeah, at the time when it came out, there was a number of water hunting machines, but a lot of them were, pulse induction. You don't really get a lot of target ID or a lot of, other information on your targets. So to have one that you could submerge for a pretty cheap price, the $600, $500 price range, there wasn't anything out there that really did that at that time. So that made it just immensely popular. People love to get in the lakes, the rivers, the shallow water, and find all that jewelry and coins. So that was a big success on that. And then, of course, those guys being on Nat Geo, we'd send them machines. They got on the show with the AT Pro. And of course, we loved that because the show was a big hit. And they were getting, a lot of notices from people of all ages going, what's that machine you're using? Because it was all terrain. And, yeah, it was definitely a big hit for us. And certainly these two guys really helped knock it out of the park with what they did with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and we actually, that machine is phenomenal. I know people today that they have all kinds of money, can buy any machine they want, and they cannot quit hunting with the AT Pro. It's simple to use, and that thing just finds stuff. I don't know what it is, but it's
I like to bounce around with the machines. I'll get one and run it for a long time and kind of get in the rut, like AT Max or whatever. But I bounce back, and my son's got an AT Pro, and I used that a little bit earlier in the spring when all the COVID was going on. I just slip away to hit some sites, where we could be away from people. And I had a 5 silver coin day, including a $50 and a ring, a silver ring, and a bunch of stuff. So I still love the Pro. I'll pick up a GTI once in a while too. So it's fun to mess around with ones you've learned over the years, learned really they were saying how to master it. You can always easily fall right back into a machine that you like, even if it's not the latest thing out there.
Right. Yeah. And you guys are right. I know people that they have used the AT Pro for years, and every now and then they'll go off, they'll try a different machine, and then they wind up, I like it, but it's just not an AT Pro. And they'll go right back to the AT Pro.
Right.
It was a very good machine.
Right. Yeah. This Apex is going to be a slammer too. That thing it's simple to operate. It's super lightweight, I'm not just saying that, because I'm a Garrett guy. This machine is an awesome machine. A lot of people are all hung up about it not being waterproof, and that's important in certain circumstances. But man, price point and what that machine will do, it's crazy. I'm going to be hunting with that tomorrow, in fact.
Yeah, I think that's what we're kind of seeing here is another evolution with Garrett. I think they've got another smash on their hands like they did with the AT Pro out of the park. And you figure, like Steven said, when the AT Pro came along, there wasn't really a machine in that niche where at that point you couldn't hardly touch a waterproof machine for under $1,000. And then here came the AT Pro doing it at half the price. And now we've got the Apex coming out soon. Granted, it's not waterproof, but now we're working in multi-frequency technology. And like what we've seen from the other manufacturers, they're making them lighter. They're making them rechargeable. They're making them more user-friendly, more powerful. In the end, we all win.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Steve can probably...
Tim can swing this thing for at least an hour. It's so light.
Sorry, I was all going to say something super serious, too. Now I totally lost track of what I was going to say.
Yeah, but I think the Apex has a lot of stuff in there that, people have been wanting. And with Garrett, we listen to customers. Tim and George hear a lot of stuff from people. We go to rallies. We talk to a lot of people. And we do surveys and things like that. And so we've got a pretty good pulse on what customers want and what they expect. And they've been wanting lighter weight. They've been wanting multi-frequency, rechargeable batteries. A lot of the features that are in this thing, the iron volume and just lots of cool things like that, it's a culmination of a lot of input. And for the price on this machine, there's a lot of stuff packed in there. Things we haven't put into a Garrett before, and I think that's part of what makes it pretty exciting for people.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a caller on with us that I'm going to work in here in a minute. But what we've seen with, say, past rollouts from Garrett, like the AT Max, I know there was a little bit of a delay in that because you guys had some last-minute changes that you wanted to do. I believe like an internal volume control may have been one of them. How can we expect the rollout on the Apex to go? Are we hoping or expecting that that's going to go smoothly, and when can we kind of expect the release of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's the plan. We did our worldwide live announcement May 15th, and we had plans. We had KG and Ringy. We were going to go over to this big European rally, and we had tons of people and distributors coming in. It was going to be a great time, and a couple other places like the Charles Garrett Hunt. We could have announced it, but when all the health crisis hit, we kind of had to reel that back in and cancel all that. So we went live and did a virtual deal and tested that out, and everybody seemed to enjoy that quite a bit. And we said our plan was to roll it out in about 2 months, so we would be looking at sometime in July going into production on the machine. So right now we are going through, people like Tim and George are doing field testing for us. We've got some others out there. I think a couple of the Hoover boys put up a video today doing a little testing on one of their sites out there. So we're gathering input from all these folks. What do you like? What do you not like? Just little nuances that we can tweak and improve, and taking that input into play. And then our goal is to knuckle down middle of July and go into production and start rolling them out. So we want to be shipping by sometime in late July to go out the door and start fulfilling orders. So
nice.
we said we would like to have about a 2-month window roughly from when we announced it to when we start to ship, because yes, we did go longer than that with the AT Max, and that, didn't suit everybody well. So we want to improve on that, but we certainly want to make every little, perfection we can before it goes out the door. And that's what we're doing here in the last few weeks. And then we're going to jump into production at some point in July and make some announcements and let people know when the first machines are going to start flying out the door.
Well, kudos to Garrett on generating hype with the original video. That was very, very well done, because what we saw was pretty much nothing. You guys kept everybody on the edge of their seats for that. So that was good, very creative. We've got a caller on with us too. How's it going, Chuck?
It's going very well. It's going very well, you guys. Hey, Steve, KG, Ringy, how you guys doing?
Good, buddy.
Doing great.
Good. It's good that your rollout, your virtual rollout, Steve, was excellent. That was very good. I mean, for the times, that was great.
Well, thank you. We didn't know how that would go over, but we heard a lot of good response from it, and we might do another one down the road. I think it's, instead of reaching hundreds of people at a rally, you can all of a sudden touch tens of thousands of people all at once, and we heard a lot of good stuff from it. So yeah, we appreciate hearing that from you.
That was cool and a lot of fun. I got questions on your coils. You got a new style coil with this?
That's right.
It is a different coil. We call this guy the Viper. It's got a narrow 6-inch width on it, but it's got the full 11-inch footprint. So we're kind of calling it like a cross between the two most popular AT Max coils, the 8.5 11 double D, and then the 5x8. So, as Tim and George can attest, you can really work through some iron trash and through some stubble fields with the narrow, toe of that thing and really separate some targets. But then you don't want to have that little 5x8 coil on if you're going to hunt a 500-acre farm, and have to swing all day long to cover all that ground. So it's a great blend between the two.
So are there plans for a series of different size coils from you for it? I'm sure there is, but
yes, there will definitely be other size coils available for the Apex. We haven't announced all the sizes on that yet. We'll probably do that here in the not too distant future as we get ready to roll into production. We'll talk about up and coming things, and that was part of why we did some surveys. We wanted to see, what do you guys that use our products want the most? And we got tons and tons and tons of responses. I was blown away by how many people responded to our survey. So yeah, you can expect larger sizes. You can expect smaller sizes, and we'll go into all the specifics on that. And for those that may not have heard or want to ask, do these work on all the other machines? No, they don't, because this has the multi-frequency technology in the coil. So it's a whole different set of electronics in there to work on all those different frequencies. So you could not pick up an old ACE coil and slap it on an Apex. Just to hit that question now and, eliminate that question.
That makes sense.
Hey,
Yes.
Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Steve will probably hit me with a baseball bat because he's so sick of me saying.
Oh, I want to watch that.
Me too.
Here comes the arm strength again.
I've been harping on those guys to make the little kind of 5x8. George and I tend to use that small coil a lot based on where we hunt, and we really like it. And if they put that size on an Apex, as I kind of expect them to do after their announcement and stuff, not only is it going to be just a killer machine in those junky areas, it's going to be so light, it'll be like holding nothing, It's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see that. Yeah, that'll go.
That'll be great.
Yeah,
maybe you'll find something then, Tim.
Yeah. We tried to make it as light as we could, but we only got it to, I think, 2.5 pounds. And Tim's like, man, that's almost as much as a bag of sugar. I can't carry that for an hour or two. So I need a little bitty coil on there, So.
Oh, wow.
That's
we'll see if we can take care of you.
That's right there in my weight class. I might be able to handle that.
And KG and Ringy were going to be at an event that we were going to have here in Galesburg this year. And, of course, COVID canceled that. But we've postponed it, not canceled, postponed till next summer. Steve, I want to invite you personally to come up because usually when you're around, those guys behave a little better.
No.
Leave it until you guys aren't looking, and they just duct tape me at night and abuse me. It's terrible.
No, when you're not looking. I've been a culprit of that, where they stole my phone. I still got the pictures. About 200 of them looking up their noses.
Yeah, you missed the
Don't ever leave your
pre-show.
phone around those two.
You missed the
I
pre-show,
learned a
Chuck.
hard lesson.
I don't think Steve calms them down too much.
No, that's all right. No, well, the problem is if KG's not with Ringy, now I was with Ringy and Steve up outside of Prescott at a ghost town. We hunted that with the gentleman and his wife from Australia. Had a blast. It was 6 inches of snow on the ground when we got there. Steve had a flat tire on the Tahoe they were running around in. They had to fix that, so we started hunting that. And I noticed Ringy was quite quieter without KG around, but Carlotta was around too, so I think he has to mind his manners.
Yeah, you noticed how Tim and the Australians and everybody else disappeared when the flat happened on the top of the mountain, and somehow I was left up there,
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's why I was so quiet that day, because I came up around that giant evergreen. Yeah, I saw that giant evergreen tree. I kind of came up around it, and I saw everybody hovered around that vehicle. And there was a tire on the ground, and I just turned around and slipped back into the woods and disappeared.
Well, we were filming in New Mexico, I believe, and we got a flat tire in one of the production vans. And I don't think them city slickers ever saw a flat tire because they all just staring at it like, oh, what do we do? So Tim and I, so we're rolling around in the mud and crawling around, and we finally got the tire off and on. They were probably just, probably thinking, if we play dumb, these idiots will change the tire. Well, it worked, so.
It did. Well, we just wanted to get out of there. Everybody was standing around looking at each other. It's like, well, somebody's got to do this. Apparently, we're the only two that know how to change a tire.
Remember, it was a drug trafficking area, and they said, you do not want to be out here at night. And we're like, oh, shit, we better get out of here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it seems like we're really hunting. There's always a
fun with you guys, and we're looking forward to it. So, Steve, that'd be probably around the second weekend of June next year. We'd like to have you come up also.
All right. Well, I hope this COVID stuff's gone, and I hope we're traveling again. I'd love to get out and do that kind of stuff. I'm going nuts being in the house so much.
We want to extend that invite out to you, too. But I'm going to ask you one more question. The speed of recovery on the Apex, has that been ramped up, a faster microprocessor?
This is pinnacle, if you will, of the Ace series. So, you know, we had a lot of competition coming in on the lower to mid-range price range. So we wanted to put a great machine, great operating platform at a more affordable price, which is kind of what Garrett's done a lot with, say, the Ace 250 in the past, or the AT Pro in a waterproof series. So this will definitely be faster than any Ace that we've had out there. You know, I think you'll see it on par with other machines that cost more money out there. It's got good speed, good target separation. You know, is it completely better than an AT Max? You know, a Max is a different platform with completely proportional audio and a lot of different characteristics, but it's definitely going to be faster and more advanced than anything we've ever put out in the Ace series, including like the Ace 400, which was very popular. And I think you'll see, you know, on par with closer to what you'd see maybe with an AT Pro, somewhere in that range. You know, you've got standard and Pro platforms there. So it's a hybrid audio system on this thing. So it's not just like a Pro, but it's not at all like an Ace. So it's kind of in between all that stuff. But definitely above anything in the affordable range we've had in the past.
And one other question. Do you think in the future, shortly, they'd make one in a waterproof case?
Yeah, that's what we're, you know, talking about, doing surveys and listening to all the customers and getting all the input. And we're hearing that a lot. You know, we want to see what you're doing with this multi-frequency and all this cool stuff that you've done here, but take it up and put it into a more advanced machine. So I think with the Apex, you're going to see us, you know, looking at the whole lineup that we've got. You know, it's time to revamp a number of our machines and improve things and put cool features in there that the customers want. So I think it's safe to say you can expect down the road that we'll be looking at all the stuff that we've got and seeing what our customers want the most. So we definitely value that opinion, Chuck.
Well, that's the kind of stuff I've been asked about, and I have a lot of excitement from customers already. I have pre-orders from customers already. They allowed us to do that and take pre-orders, and there's a lot of talk, and since COVID killed a lot of these events that you would be unveiling this and allowing people to see and touch and feel and that kind of stuff, they're excited about it, and I've got Garrett Powers, and I mean literally AT Pros, AT Max, the 400 and the 55th anniversary. They've been moving very well, and a lot of people come to me and ask opinions about different machines, and it's always the AT Pros on there, and I tell them, you know, especially starting and the Ace 400. So, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And you guys, it keeps the interest in the hobby. And as we move forward, you guys build a great machine, always have. I started, one of the machines that I did try early on when I started many years ago was an early Garrett, and they had a BFO unit, beat frequency.
Right.
I never did master that. I never did master that.
Well, as far as Apex goes, I mean, like you kind of alluded to, a lot of things have been canceled, a lot of the big hunts, the big rallies. We did have plans to have a bunch of test lanes and let tons of people come out and check out the machine and see how it works. You know, but for those that want to sit back and they can't get their hands on one right away, I was talking to Tim, and he said, you know, he and George are planning on doing, you know, some Apex little quick hitters, little videos in the upcoming week.
Good.
And maybe those guys can get out and film how it works or what it does and show people that, you know, can't go to a rally and check it out. So hopefully you'll start seeing more videos from these guys here pretty soon. Maybe they'll answer some of your questions.
Very good.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some more quick hitters come out. In fact, in the next couple of days, we should have one come out that, you know, just starts. I actually hunted a really difficult site, just loaded with tin cans and garbage, you know, typical stuff, plus just covered in hot rocks. And so there's a quick hitter coming out that's going to talk about how I handled that and what happened. And then after that, we've got all these cool finds we found with the Apex so far. And we'll have another one that has, like I said, our settings and stuff, because everybody wants to know how we set our machines up. So
after KG tells you how he sets his up.
Yeah, exactly. After KG tells me all the info, I'll just kind of do my work here quietly and, you know,
might cost them a little bit of money.
But this will be a nice turn-on-and-go machine, too, for the new people, right?
Right on.
Very
Good.
user-friendly.
Out of the box.
Oh, yeah. I mean, seriously, I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's not. Obviously, the very first prototype I got showed up, and there was no printed manual in there. I just opened the box, and there it was. I just threw it together, turned it on, and figured it out in 10 seconds. I knew exactly how to set everything on it, and literally
very good.
within minutes.
Good. At least there's
That's the truth.
At least there's no horror stories about it didn't work.
Read the screen to me. Yeah.
As she was digging the holes.
Hey guys, we've got a crazy spider on with us too. How's it going, John?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Good, buddy.
Hey.
What's up?
John?
So, I wasn't going to call in at all, but I thought of an entertaining question, and I'm glad, Chuck, you're on the line still, because it has to do with you.
Oh, boy.
You always have interesting things. So, I remember hearing Chuck's perspective and his side of the story from when the Max first came out, and you guys were testing it here in Iowa, and one of your guys' Maxes disappeared, and so did Chuck. I want to hear your guys' perspective on that story.
Do you remember
I think Chuck
that?
was just paying us back. Yeah, Chuck was paying us back because, we kept leaving his phone lay around. He left his gold laying around one day, and we kiped a big nugget from him, and he didn't even realize it was gone. And then we ended up feeling bad. I was like, dang it, man. He don't even realize it's gone. So we had to walk up and give it to him, And then next thing you know, our machines are disappearing, I don't know.
Yes.
I think Tim got a pie in the face.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I think I got a pie in the face on stage for no reason, just for being
Yes.
too good looking, I guess.
You can steal my phone, but don't take my gold.
Yeah. Well, how can you argue with that?
Well, what they were doing, they were filming, and they had me do some camera work where they're passing something back and forth, okay? And they'd set their machines against a fence, and they were still working on video shots, and I was kind of playing cameraman when I figured out, the thing was turned on and not staring in the lens going, how do you know if this is on? And they left one set, so I left my machine stand there. I just kind of swapped it out, took down the hill, and got down. We were hunting an 1850 home out in Iowa, and I just took off with it. And I had no idea of the settings, none. I just turned it on, and I think it was KG's machine because he sets it. He likes to run that iron mode and listen, which seems to work out pretty good. And I had no idea at that time. It didn't take me long, and I think I found coming up the hill V-nickel with it. And it was a lot of fun to steal their machine and run it. And then I'd look up the hill, and they're kind of staring at me, and I thought, well, maybe I better take that back.
No, we just lost our cameraman.
Yeah. But that's fun, and if you need another cameraman, guys, I'm there.
All right, bud.
All right.
Well,
Yeah, you did show me how to run that. So that's been fun, John. Go with these two guys, and they are, and all three of them are emissaries for our hobby. They really have a lot of fun on their shows, but when they're at the hunts and out with people, they're just some of the greatest guys to go out and hang with. And I've had great opportunities to do that. We've been in Vegas and Arizona and Iowa, and I've had some great hunt times. Spent a week with them up in Iowa, and KG lost at that one too. They made him go wandering around in this huge cornfield that day. Children of the corn.
Yeah, I think I got covered in chiggers and ticks.
Ooh. Not good.
That was his punishment. And Steve, that hunt out there in Prescott and hanging with you guys, that was a hoot, and hanging and going down and gold hunting out, and I'm not quite sure where we were at on that, but we went out quite a ways, and that was fun, and I always appreciate that, and they're fond memories.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have fun everywhere.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, I enjoy, and I always have since I was a kid, being outdoors, hiking, just being in the woods and all that. And then once I learned you could take a metal detector and go run around the woods and find cool stuff, well, then it's just like a Easter egg quest, like wander the forest, explore, and then every once in a while just find something really awesome out there. So I don't care where we go. I mean, cornfield, mountaintop, it's just fun. I mean, I love being outdoors, and just did a hiking trip last week, and it's just, enjoying the nature and enjoying being around some cool guys and having a good time,
And speaking of Easter egg quest, you just kind of jogged my memory there. I've been telling listeners, you gotta pay attention. We've got some kind of Easter egg kind of quests coming up here very soon. As a matter of fact, they will get details on one tonight, won't they, Chuck?
Yes, they will. You got it. You got to cut it loose.
Right. So one lucky listener's going to walk away with a AT pinpointer. And I'll give them the details about that before we go off air tonight. Because they're going to have to do a little bit of work for it. And then we've got another one coming up shortly after that they may have to do a lot of work for that one.
But hope I win.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Definitely. And,
I hope I win, Ringy.
And you don't, you had mentioned running around the woods and everything, Steve. You don't go hanging out of trees and everything like the other two, do you?
I don't go where?
Hanging out of trees, swinging from the trees.
I tend to hurt myself enough. I don't need to be swinging out of trees. They know about me. I've always got some kind of injury when we go on some kind of trip and I'm getting over something, whether it's back surgery or I chopped off half my ankle during the COVID thing with something and, was hobbling around. So, and they don't give you any grief over it. So I don't need to, add insult to injury and create stupid falls like they do,
So you leave the stunt work to them.
Pretty much, yeah. And when I watch them run and slide face first in the mud and all that, like if I did that, I'd slide over a sharp rock or something, So I'm not going to try it.
Right. I'll just stand back and watch you two do it and point and laugh.
Yeah, I've got 20 people hunt with me that get a good laugh at me tumbling down a creek or down the side of a hill or something. I hurt myself enough on my own bad luck, Of
course, we kind of have a camera guy that travels with us now a bit. Brian, and he's more entertainment than anything because he was trying to film us and he walked right into this ginormous moat and I think he ruined about $2,000 worth of camera gear and all that.
So wow. We were trying to get him to jump across it, weren't we?
Yeah, Steve was trying to get me to jump across it and the camera guy was trying to get a good angle on me jumping it because it was way too far and I probably never would have made it. And so I was getting ready and the camera guy's like, wait. I got to get a better angle. And he walks down and he slips and he goes head first right into the moat. So I didn't have to jump the thing anymore because we didn't have a camera after that.
Wow. Yeah, we had to fish the camera guy out.
Yeah, we've had to fish two different camera guys out of moats before. I mean, we had our Nat Geo camera guy with us in the Netherlands, and we were wired up. And we got way ahead of him as we were about to start filming. We were walking out to where the rally was about to start. And he's like, you guys wait for me. Like we could hear him and he could hear us conversing with each other, even though we weren't shouting and he was way back there. And we're like, hey, we're going to jump this moat. And he's like, don't you do it. And we could hear him screaming and way back there. Don't you guys do it. Because he overheard us. And so, of course, we did. We jumped over the moat, and then he finally caught up, and we're like, Craig, just jump it. Just jump the moat. You can do it. And he's got like a $100,000 camera. And, of course, he steps near the moat and slips and falls down and is completely submerged, but he managed to hold the camera straight up out of the water until one of us, I think George, reached out and grabbed the camera and pulled it up to safety. But he was completely covered in filth and mud and we all laughed real hard.
Wow.
Never forgave us.
So not only have the camera crew busted up quite a bit of metal detecting equipment, but it sounds like they've busted up a fair amount of camera equipment too.
Absolutely.
It seems like there's always a
breaking
mishap out there.
Yeah.
Well, a camera guy would be trying to film a different angle, and he'd be walking around us looking into the camera lens, and he would stomp on a metal detector and break the shaft or the wing off of it, and we're like, come on, what the hell? So Garrett was constantly trying to keep us supplied with new stems and wings and stuff because our camera guys kept stomping on everything.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'd also be, there's a couple of them, we put out another bloopers reel just recently that's out on our site, diggintv.com. So if you go watch those, you can see there's a couple. One of them was, I think it was Craig, where he was filming me walk up this thing, and you can tell that he's walking backwards to keep the camera on me, and he obviously trips over a rock, and it's all very funny. Yeah.
There's always these little funny moments, and it's one person on a different trip every time. And I remember one year or two back, I think it was over in Germany or somewhere, we were working a World War II crash site, and for whatever reason, I'd gotten out of batteries, and so I got one of the spare machines in the back and popped the battery pack out of it and took that. We got our briefing. We head across the fields. We're going way out there to hunt. And Tim goes to flip his machine on, and he just starts cussing. Like, oh, it doesn't have any batteries. They're dead. And he opens it up, and there's not even a battery tray in it. And he's like, what the heck is going on here? And I'm just up there biting the sides of my cheeks, trying not to laugh. And he's like, somebody freaking took my batteries out of this thing. And so he has to go stomping all the way back to the vehicle to get more batteries. And, of course, being a good friend, I didn't say anything about it or mention anything. And he gets all the way back with another battery pack, still just cussing mad, loads it up, and we head to the field to go hunt the airplane crash site. He gets about 30 yards further, and he's like, oh, my God. He'd walked off and forgot his shovel this time, all the way back at the truck again.
Oh, and George is probably watching going, yep, now he's only going to be able to hunt for 30 minutes.
Exactly. I was all worn out. That's all I had left in me.
Well, and I guess there is something to be said for those shovels. They do make nice hiking sticks too, I suppose, when you're trying to get back out there in the field.
Yes, and nice murder weapons too.
Or beverage openers.
Yeah.
Oh. And with all of the kind of funny clips and blooper clips that we see, it's really got to make you wonder how many of them were missing that the camera wasn't on for. I'm sure it's got to be a ton.
10 to 1.
Wow. That would not surprise me at all. I mean, you guys have always been and continue to be just an absolute riot. Really love to have fun. True emissaries of the hobby. Really great to see.
And the funny thing about those guys is, being around them for as long as we've been with Garrett, we've got to know them pretty good. And in the early days with the show, they entertained a lot of people that never thought about metal detecting, whereas the old timers, the serious guys, if you will, kind of looked at that and went, they're just a couple of clowns or a couple of jokesters. This is not real. It's all staged. And then any of those people that ever ended up meeting them at a rally or going relic hunting with them or something came away going, man, they're hardcore. Those guys dig all kinds of stuff. They find great stuff. They're actually really cool. So and once they got past the first few shows of the old timers getting over that little phobia, they realized you can have fun and be out there and be stupid and enjoy yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. With working with them as long as Garrett has, though, were there ever times early on maybe that Garrett was going, I'm just going to shake my head and go, what in the world did we get ourselves into?
I think they still do that.
We were saying that yesterday, as a matter of fact. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever had the idea to give them equipment. They actually reached out to us in the early days and said they were filming these extreme metal detecting videos and wanted to know, would it be okay if they could use our detectors on their shows? And we kind of looked at one of them and said, yeah, that looks.
Thing I got from you guys was, you sent me something, and it was like in this giant package, and I opened it, and it's just like garbage from somebody's wastebasket. I mean, 99% of what was in the box was like orange peels and just trash. You know?
And I get down to the bottom, and it's a pinpointer.
Yeah, and someone sent him an Evel Knievel, one of the miniature Evel Knievel helmets. I was kind of jealous about that. You know, the old wine.
Yeah, it was in a. Yeah, it was in a big pile of garbage and stuff, and I looked at it and I thought, I think this is an Evel Knievel helmet from the original 70s thing, and I saved it. Luckily, because it was awesome.
No,
the first couple times I dug with these guys, I'd get back to my room at night, and I didn't know them that well, and I'd be going through my finds and going through my pouch, and I'd find these bizarre things. You know, like one of the first ones was this naked doll in there with had some writing on the rear end. And I'm like, I didn't find that thing. How did that get in my pouch? You know, and then I really started to worry the next couple of things I found. You know, something's wrong with these guys.
Yeah, he's pretty good at dishing it out anymore, though. I don't feel sorry for him because I found some pretty crazy stuff in my bags from Steve. And then he plays the end and says, "Oh, what? Not me, not me." And it's him.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sure he kind of points at Tim or something. It wasn't me. It had to be Tim.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, and I'm sure Chuck would agree, too. Like Steve had said, they appreciate everything that Tim and George have done for Garrett and with Garrett, but likewise, there's many diggers in the hobby that appreciate what KG and Ringy do for the hobby itself.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
We try. You
guys are great, and all three of you. And I've spent some of my most memorable moments with you guys. It's been a lot of fun, and you guys you stand tall for our hobby.
Thank you,
well,
buddy.
Thanks, man. That's really great.
Chuck always has an extra bottle of anti-anxiety pills with him, and then his speed dial. He's got his therapist when he's hanging out with us.
Well, yeah. I'll go with that.
Right. Chuck's going, sure. Yeah, sounds good. Definitely.
But, you know, today, now you weren't there, KG, but Ringy was, and Steve were up on that, kind of that ghost town up on the plateau up, and it had snowed. We got up into snow. I can't remember. We got pretty close to the 6,000-foot level out there. And it was gorgeous. It was a little cool, but it was a gorgeous day. Of course, Steve, he has to do the tire change. Ringy disappears, but we did some great hunting, and a lot of relics were found, and the silver cane tip off a walking cane that was all embellished and real pretty. That was the winner of the day. That was fun.
Oh, that
Very
was
cool.
Warren found that, I think. Yeah, that was really awesome.
Yes, he did. In fact,
Very
he was the winner that day. You guys, what'd you give, the last piece of pie or something?
Oh yeah, we had just those little miniature pies, and he got to have half of my little miniature pie. So we had a celebratory.
It was fun. They had me as the judge, and
something.
You're sitting there, and here's Steve, and he's just staring at you, and then Warren and Ringy, and I'm like, oh man. So the guy that came the farthest on the nearest, that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, definitely. And John says that he thought you had dropped out, Chuck, so John's already left us, but he does say to tell everyone thank you.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think...
John's a type. Be with him tomorrow. We're going out and doing some hunting. We're actually going, if you remember KG and Ringy, to Dave Fountain. And we're going to go out with him some areas where you shot the show on Children of the Corn there. And unfortunately, we didn't get onto the one location that we had set up because a couple people interjected and wouldn't let us get in there. But someday we'll get on that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I talked with John about that earlier today, actually. We've got something in the works brewing for next month, maybe. Another little thing to test the listeners' attention.
Oh, cool. That's fun. So I'll back out of here, gentlemen. I'll let you go. And Josh, it's all yours. You can wind them up and give away that pinpointer. And that comes from me at S&W. And you guys have a great night. Thanks for letting me be on with you, gentlemen.
All right.
Jeff.
Good talking to you, Chuck.
All right, Chuck.
All right.
Good talking to you.
We'll be back together again. I'm sure I'll come up with some place to take you. Maybe we'll do some of the muddy Mississippi River on some steamboat landings if it ever gets down to an area where the water drops enough, I can get you wading and pulling up all those pieces of copper tube and different stuff. The last time we were able to hunt that, we got a nameplate off a steamboat. I've gotten a steamboat captain's hat pin from the 1850 to 60 area and a lot of coins, but man, you dig those doggone aluminum nuggets. But it's fun to hunt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll talk to you later, gentlemen. Be safe out there, please.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
Thanks for the
Take care.
call,
Bye-bye.
Chuck.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, and we have definitely ran on for quite a while here, but definitely some good times, and I'm sure that you guys will hopefully have plenty more information and stories to share with the friendly people over at Detect America tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll definitely do that. I'm hoping Steve's okay. Not this Steve, but the other Steve over at DA.
Yeah,
I mean,
he did.
I think he said he had some kind of health issue for a little bit, but he thinks he'll be back and ready to go. So
Yeah, he
that's
will
good.
be back in time for the show. The show must go on, he says. So he will be
All right.
home
Cool.
tomorrow afternoon, I believe, was the last update I saw.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Good to hear.
Yeah, definitely. And for those that are listening, we will definitely give you guys a chance to plug any pages that you want to mention, YouTube, stuff like that. But for the listeners that are listening, obviously we did mention about an AT pinpointer, courtesy of Shooters and Prospectors. And that's kind of what we were saying about listeners want to pay attention. This is important lately and will continue to be in the coming episodes. But for those that are listening that would like a chance to win an AT pinpointer, you gotta listen close. You gotta go over to the Shooters and Prospectors page. Check out their cover photo, and there's a cover photo there of a few coins. Private message me the dates on 2 of the coins. You don't have to get all 3, but you have to have at least 2. Private message me the dates on 2 of those coins, and Sunday's episode with Adventures with Purpose, I will randomly select one of the correct answers as the winner of a Garrett AT pinpointer. And we've also got a set of metal detecting cards. Maybe we'll work that into second place on that, if that's all right with Tim.
Oh, heck yeah. Give them away. Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right with me.
Maybe we'll do it that way then. And
we could do that. And how about this? How about we give away one right now to anybody that's listening? So all you have to do is go find, let's see, I think it was our latest quick hitter about I think the last one that was released Monday was for the Florida hunts we did this year, right before the lockdown. Just go out there and say something nice about KG or me, and we'll enter you in to win a set of those cards too, and maybe a token or something.
Wow, see, now everybody's got the heads up there because I can't get over and do it. I'm running the show.
Yeah, I was all in on that contest until I had to make a nice comment about you, so I'm going to duck out at that point.
Now, Steve's going, you almost
a nice comment about KG or me, so it only has to be about KG or me. It doesn't have to be both of us.
And Steve's going, I'm still out.
Or
Be about Steve.
You can say something nice about Steve too, and it'll still count.
Well, nobody will say anything then. That'll be bad.
Well, they'll all still be the nice things. They'll all be about. Now watch, it'll all be nice stuff about Steve and nothing about you and me, of course.
Oh, that's the way it should be, probably.
Yeah,
Right.
probably deserve it. Yeah.
Well, now I'll tell you, speaking of Steve's, I feel like Steve Pacifico from Detect America right now. People are blowing up my inbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the AT pinpointer contest that we just announced. Man, they're quick. People are quick around here. People are quick, so I'm sure that one of you guys are going to be getting notifications about somebody commenting on your recent quick hitter. So we should probably
probably.
We should probably roll on out of here, but before we do, I'm going to go around and let everyone have an opportunity to mention their pages, anything like that. I guess let's start with Steve first.
Yeah, I guess anybody that wants to find out more about the new Apex, certainly go to Garrett.com or go to Garrett's official Facebook or Instagram pages. Check out all the news there, and when we get the final shipping starting sometime in July, we'll make an announcement on that and keep everybody up to speed. But in the meantime, keep an eye out for people like KG and Ringy. I think more people are going to start throwing up some of their field test Apex videos here pretty soon. Thanks for having me, guys.
Nice. And thank you for taking the time to be on tonight, Steve.
Not a problem.
KG?
Yeah, I just want to say go to DIGGINTV.com for all the nonsense you can handle. DVD or quick hitters, full episodes, everything. Just go subscribe to the channel, and I can't thank all of our followers enough. We've had an awesome bunch of people following us.
Nice.
Yeah, for years. That really is true. And we, everything we did, we had a good time. We put on a couple of popular shows and everything, but the only reason we got to where we are is because we had a bunch of fans that appreciate a sense of humor as well as history, and we all had a good time together. So we're all part of Team ATC together. That's great. So like KG says, diggintv.com, that's where you can find basically everything. All of our sites link together there. AnacondaTreasure.com, you can get to everywhere from there. And there's a button even on the diggintv.com site that just says quick hitters. If you want to go see all the quick hitters now, they're listed out there, and it all takes you to our YouTube channel, so you don't have to, try to remember any of that either. Just go to that one site, you'll find it all.
Right, and I'm sure that tomorrow night as well on Detect America at 8 p.m., Frank and Steve will give you the opportunity to mention those pages again, so keep that in mind. That way...
Yep, we'll give away some stuff then, too.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing you guys on there. And I guess one final note before we roll out. Yesterday, we saw that there was some celebration going on, so happy birthday to Carlotta.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I'll be sure to tell her. Yeah, we had a good time. We took an actual day off of digging for a change, and actually took her to Arizona, which is kind of a hilarious place. It's this huge place, and they've got black bears everywhere. KG would love it. They'd probably try to jump in and attack him if he went through there.
Wow. Nice. Well, I would like to
Did you bring her somewhere besides McDonald's, Tim?
No, I let her order. I posted that thing that said I let her order a medium iced tea instead of a small, since it was her birthday.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, it has been an absolute just blast having the three of you on the show tonight. I'm sure tomorrow night is going to be no exception. It's going to be a blast over there too. And I would, all joking aside, like to say thank you all very, very much for what you do for the hobby and for taking the time to be on tonight.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, hang in there with me for a few minutes, guys. For everyone else, we got to roll because I've got messages coming in left and right. If you enjoyed the show, make sure and throw us a like. You can follow us on Spreaker, iHeart, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook. We're just Google Beyond Sight and Sound. We're everywhere. Maybe not in as many places as Ringy and KG and Steve, but we're everywhere. We're out there too. So, until the next one, Sunday, we have a very special guest coming up that has made quite a large amount of interesting recoveries underwater, helping to clean up our waterways and ecosystem. And we're so excited about that guest that I will drop an advanced promo on the Beyond Sight and Sound page tonight after the show. Until the next one, we'll see you then, folks. Have a wonderful night.